Welcome to Corked Stats.
Corked Stats.
From Wall Street to Main Street to 161st Street, where profit meets baseball, fantasy, betting, and game theory.
It's the fastest freaking show at MLB. Absolutely. Anyway, which boy? Big Johnny Stud, we coming out the chair as always. Italian Tasmanian Devil is outraged. No. Freaking no, yo. All right, let's do it to it. NFL stuff is starting to go up. Advanced data, team and player level, plus the first version of the best ball ranks. Those will update in real time with stats on the same page. Boom. Quick upload right into Underdog, all color-coded. A booyah. Site projections. I'll be adding my own projection soon. Boom. How much? The same $2 a week that you get when you roll with us. All the MLB stuff, of course, round the clock. It literally never stops. Pitching data has been going up the night before. And then come morning time, all the stuff's in the things. Algo, first 5 and full game scores, bullpen stuff, all the team data you're going to see, split, advanced stuff, hitter stats, the Cook bullpen report every day, sortable stuff, last year's stats, plus bets, just every damn thing, and me. All right. I saw Carolina Daddy up in the piece, man. A couple of people there. Jeff L, of course, CKM, Brian E, what's going on? And Chandler, what's up, everybody? Good to see you. This is not bad.
This is Sparta!
All right, 15 games in the docket, split 5 and 10. Let's jump into the back 10. We'll circle back for the early 5, though. I do like this Saturday schedule. No ones. It kicks off at like 3. I like that. You know, my Saturday afternoon can kick off just a little bit later. For me, it's so damn distracting, you know, having these games going on. Last night, we almost had the sweep. What a kick in the ass, right? Me always talking about the F5 unders. We were under Miami and Washington. Oh, my God, no, that was the wrong one. Well, double L. Yeah, no shit. The buzzer sounds. All 5 runs scored in the first inning. Game ends at 3-2. So the read was strong, and that's a point for my boy Kyle, who has said just this. That's the downside of leaning on just the first 5. If there's a blow-up, you don't give yourself a chance at recovery, and that's exactly what happened to him. All right, enough of that shit. More of this. It's the best part of waking up. Piping hot pitching sheets in the mug, Broseph. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 brings us down to Philly. Let's kick it off there. I'm going to try and be brief today. You know, as the season goes on, people want less and less hour-long baseball stuff every day, but maybe someone out there is mowing the lawn or shopping for some food, and we're going to get you through those chores, right? That's what we do. So Kyle Freeland on the bump for the Rocks, plus 160 dog. They're down in Philly. Okay, everybody, stop. Right now, you know me, homie, right? I'm very honest and transparent. I also try not to do the mega whale lock, auto glazing myself all the time. We freaking nailed that plus 160 Colorado. That wasn't even close. We like Dollander outright over Luzardo. Why am I mentioning besides, you know, my hand in the pantaloons? Because it's the same price today. You're getting a better price on Dollander than you are Freeland against Nola. Again, it is what it is, man. These Phillies are a little bit disappointing. I do have them today for the clean win, but I can't pay the price. So I think you're either going over or not at all. Phillies do have the bullpen emoji going on. I don't know. Do you trust Nola? I don't really trust Nola. Do you trust Freeland? I don't fucking trust Freeland as far as I could throw him. So I'm a little bit surprised this one was even coming in at 8.5. I thought it might be a little bit higher. So let's take the cop-out route as always. I think you can give me the 8.5, but if you're pairing, though, regardless, I think if you're pairing or not, you really should be pricing these alt totals. The more I say it and the more we go through this thing of ours, right? The ball of water flying around the bowl of fucking fire. You know, it's the truth. Pricing is not standardized, which is why shopping around is so important. And sometimes runs are cheap, right? Different books have different prices. They also have different criteria for pricing those alt lines. So if you get a, you know, good price on a cheap line on the right book, all of a sudden that half run is very cheap compared to the worst line. So always shop around, but more than ever, look for those alt pairing. I don't want to be that donkey that's like, I pay for runs, I buy runs. I shop for runs, right? I think that's probably fair. All right. So to me, it's over or nothing. Let's move on. Joey Ryan on the bump for the Twins. They're on the road in Forest City to face Tanner Bybee and the Guards. Wind blowing out. I have the Twins for the F5 win, that disappearing or dissipating in the back end. Twins bullpen is horrendous. There's goods and bads here, right? There's ups and downs, ebbs and flows, like everything else. The Twins are going to be tempting us with good F5 pricing all year because the offense is enough to back. They were never as good as they were when they started. I don't think they're as bad as they were in this recent valley we've seen. But because the bullpen's so bad and they're constantly losing, you're going to be getting a nice bump there. I think Ryan is as good an example as any. Offense the last 2 weeks, neither one of them is really hitting righties at all. So I think we have the edge with Ryan over Bivey, who's still really struggling, waiting for that step that we've seen from Gavin Williams. Again, the big differentiator here is the bullpen, which we don't have to expose ourselves to. So yeah, give me Joey Ryan at even money. That one feels pretty clean. I wouldn't be surprised if, as the market digests that one, it starts to kind of move towards us. All right, we're doing pretty good, and let's move the bitch on up. My boy Eddie Cabrera on the bump for the Baby Bears. They're on the road in the Lone Star State to face Jack the Torch Leiter. These are like two of my guys. Now, granted, I don't think either, has really taken off, though there's a pretty good case for Leiter. That 5.4 ERA, we're not even interested in. All the underpinning stuff's pretty damn strong. He's been very unlucky. 68 left on base, 323 BABIP, 19 homer to fly ball. It's a really brutal run out. He's been much better than that. But the Cubs offense is also a strong suit. As I flip over to them, you can see Cubs versus righties last 2 weeks, one of, if not like the best offense in the game right now. Texas can't say the same at all. Cabrera, who's had his hangups, has shown us flashes. He's going to do that, because he can get swing and miss and get you to reach. I don't know. Like I said, mixed signals feels like the running theme here. I'd want to be on the under. I don't think I would pay the minus 145 for Cabrera. Model is definitely leaning, hinting at that. The totals are just bordering on high as far as under those 4.5, right? I love going under the F5 4.5. And actually, these bullpens have both been good, if I'm not mistaken. Cubs starting to slip a little bit after a great start. We were worried about the arm talent. They did return Palencia, but after so many injuries, it's going to catch up to you. Same thing with Texas. They've performed. We were worried about the talent there as well. I mean, who is closing games? Who is in the Texas bullpen? I don't even know. I don't bullshit you guys. I look at as much of this shit as literally anybody. Fine, I know Latz was out there, but like Jacob Junis is out there trying to get critical outs. Cole Winn, Tyler Alexander, and Gavin Collier. Like, I don't really know who these guys are. So I'd still be leaning towards the 4.5. But you're relying on a lot here, right? We're relying on both guys that have struggled to be good and both offenses that have been good at times to kind of be bad. I think I'm on the fade, but that's the play that I like the most. I feel the most confident going into it at a baseline price, looking for a quick under. And then if you get the, give up the 2. I kind of threw the timer out the window. I was using it less and less because I've either been over it or under it. But it's been served its purpose to keep me on track. Now I could maybe use my phone a little bit more. The weather stuff really matters when you're kind of coin flipping. Wind is like right to left at 7. It's going to be hot out in Texas. That's kind of what I was looking for. Weather back up into the 80s. Maybe I don't want to challenge the under before I see how Texas is playing as the sun really starts to come out. Next up, who the fuck want what, yo? My computer is freezing. I'm in a little bit of streaming hell. I keep forgetting to do that hard Wi-Fi reset I've been talking about. If you have young kids, like what that means to shut everything down for 25 minutes. It's a tremendous deal. It's a tremendous deal. I'm up first, and I mean to do it in the morning, and I just never remember, man. Next up, it's Ty John Madden on the bump for the Tigres. They're on the road against Michael Waka Flocka and the Royals. I'm having a massive brain fart right now with the Tigers, why that spot opened up. Guys have been dropping like flies. I'm not sure if it's the Scooble spot. I feel like it is somebody else also. I'm not going to just sit and stutter here. I wanted to bring up the Tiger depth chart, just get an idea of where we stand on them. Okay, right now, man, they're missing so many guys. Olsen, Scooble, Mize, Melton, Job, right? Mize too. Just crazy. Yeah, so Tiger's going to be looking to patchwork a lot of this stuff together. I meant to bring up the Madden game log we were talking about Griffin Jacks was one of them, and there was someone yesterday where we're getting these relievers that are getting stretched into long relief to maybe get some quality innings. Man, Madden actually went 5 full, where I thought he was like a reliever. I mean, he is kind of a reliever, though he started games in the minors this year, and he hasn't been good. He's walking too many batters, giving up home runs and stuff. So I don't know. I'm probably off of Madden here. Sometimes I like to be aware because sometimes these relievers are really great on a per inning basis, like Madden has been, but it's only been 5 innings. I wasn't sure. I guess I thought it was like 2 or 3 outings, not 1. I mean, if you get this, you're going to be gravy. Feels a little bit unrepeatable, though. That outing, for what it's worth, was on regular rest. It was also not a start. That's why it slipped past me. So he came in as a bulk guy and shoved 5 scoreless, no walks, 7 Ks versus the Boston team that's not very good. He'll get Kansas City, who the last 2 weeks is starting to pop versus righties, and last 7 is also starting to show a bit of that power stroke we were hoping for, still striking out too much. But the ball's in the air and getting hit hard, that's always been kind of the indicator, well, not just for the Royals, but for everybody. So I guess I like the Royals here. Waka more of an inning eater. You're not going to find it in the disciplinary stuff. It's never going to be great. And I think he's always going to outperform the indicators, just kind of understanding what to do. The Tigers have been tough on righties generally. Now a little bit less, but all the things that we look for encouragement are still in place. So again, kind of mixed signals, good bullpens, both sides. I got Casey for a clean win. I don't know why I was making such a face at the minus 135. It's probably pretty fair to get Waka as a legit starter against. I had Madden. Now I'm seeing Madden is off the board, of fucking course. Madden is still listed at RotoWire. I've got B. Smith. I don't even know who that is. Bert Smith, apparently. 36-year-old reliever. So, I don't know, man. Apparently, it's not just a weekend for us. I guess KC on the money line is the play. That number is starting to move towards KC. That minus 130 that I wasn't in love with, minus 131, is now minus 145. So, I don't think I'm going to be playing this. This would be part of a DDP kind of chalk donkey parlay where you think you get the win, but you don't love enough to play it straight. Next up, Luis Castillo on the bump for the M's. They're on the road in Chi-Town to face Anthony K. Every gift begins with K and the Palehose. They're plus 120 on the road. This one is very clearly scoring or nothing. Oh, I wanted to shout out our guys, Jason and Jeff. I took my first whirl at both teams to score yesterday, hit the first one, got half the second one, and the Padres got shut out at home. And man, I know that offense sucks, but 2 runs through 9 innings, team total 1.5 feels so damn low that I don't want to be discouraged, but I didn't come home with that. I was looking for both teams to score 2 also. I was looking for pairs of both teams to score 2. That would get me to even money. It got me to plus 109. The one that I really wanted was earlier. That one hit. And see how, again, I fall sometimes a little bit into pricing too much. At the end of the day, we want the bets that are going to cross, obviously. Castillo having massive struggles. I kind of can't help but wonder if he might get replaced by Bryce Miller, who's on the mend. Another few outings like this from Castillo, who's been dog shit, is going to be terrible. Maybe he's making the pitch to Skip that he's been unlucky. 59 left on base, 367 BABIP is unlucky, even if you are getting pulled and getting hit hard. Hayes also been shit. I think he's coming off a good outing. We're looking to just sell all the rips here, man. I'm not buying whatever it is that K is selling. Seattle is hit for power against lefties. I think they continue to do that. So this is a both teams to score spot. Both teams to score 2, both teams to score 3, both teams to score 4. And I kind of meant to mention the latter. Gosh, comments just going absolutely crazy. I love that you guys are working this stuff kind of without me. Anyway, I think we get scoring in this one. I don't be looking at that. So it's 09 or team totals, which I do happen to have again. Let's see. So team totals on both sides. I'm obviously expecting 4.5s or better. It's not the case. So Mariners 4.5 minus 120. White Sox are 3.5 minus 135. I do have the 3.5 tag. So yeah, I think we have to like the White Sox side of that just based on the, modeling aspect of it. The 4.5, 3.5 makes the 9 feel high though, right? You see how you can make a face at that? So I like the White Sox total in the both teams to score. That's what I'm going to put. I'm going to put White Sox over 3.5, but I'm going to mark my sheet with a BTTS, and let's move it on from there. Next up, New York Yankees got eviscerated yesterday by Miz. They're coming right back at it with Cam Schlittler on the hill, minus 143 against Kyle Harrison, who, like on a velocity kind of stuff measure, isn't as good as Miz. But as far as production and total package, Harrison's been legit fantastic. A lot of it is also very believable. Elite command and control, getting swings and misses, getting called stuff over, keeping the ball, not necessarily down. The line drives are always a little concerning, but if that's where you're at, you really can't throw a pitcher profile like because everybody gets, flat planed a lot because the actual hard hit rates are low, the barrel rate is low, the homer rate is low. It's wheels up for Harrison. He's really good. Anytime you challenge the Yankees, you're kind of taking your fate in your hands. It's something we talk about all the time. I've been very unlucky challenging the Yankees, but again, it went the other way too. I thought the price on Fried was a little too good to turn down. Now, if you notice, I didn't pull the trigger because I didn't love it. I'm trying to be a little bit more selective. This comment is profitable, by the way, with 2 sessions to go. We may be live in just a couple days. Hopefully, 1 or 2 people took that piece of advice, which I swear above. There are people who pay hundreds of dollars to have that idea laid out, the execution of that laid out during consultation meetings. I absolutely promise you. So if that helped you, subscribe to the Substack, support good people doing good work. So I don't really know where the scoring comes from, right? It comes from the Yankees. We think they've hit lefties very well. They're coming off a shite outing. Brewers offense that we didn't want to sell out on because they were returning pieces show that they're pretty cromulent. Now their last 2 week stats versus righties are really ticking up. They're batting .299 as a squad. All the disciplinary stuff is really good. The contact stuff is starting to tick up. Almost like adding Andrew Vaughn and Jackson Chourio matters. Both bullpens are rocking and rolling. This feels like a playoff battle right now. Totals are set at 3.5 and 7.5. I just can't get there. I wouldn't be surprised if that 7.5 even dropped to 7 again. No, it's holding at 7.5. So I might go donkey status, similar to that Nats Marlins game I mentioned. Right, the scoring was early and then faded because again the Pens are so very good. I think I'm under the 7.5. I also think the Yankees win, not to be a bitch, but I don't think I could bet it because the model is just not there. Harrison is too strong. The Pen is too strong. The Brewers lineup maybe a bit too competitive for the price. So I'm going to stick with scoring at a premium here and then moving on up. Let's go Mets go. Clay Holmes on the bump. Minus 120 against Merrill Kelly and the fucking Diamondbacks. What is going on here? Why does everyone hate the Mets so much? Legit, everybody hates the Mets. Please, big nose lesson time. It doesn't matter how many times in a row a team lost. These events are independent. The Mets are fine. How's that for a YouTube short? Apparently, my even 1 minute thing is way too long. Fuck it. Let's start, I'm going to start putting all my catchy little stupid catchphrases and go fucking viral on everything I'm not about, right? Because that's how the world is. I'll get popular on the shit that means the least to me and probably get into my first big meeting where they're like, we need to get rid of all that thinking. Maybe you give out some long shot home run parlays. What do you think? Anyway, we called on the Mets. They're a much better team than the Diamondbacks right now. Clay Holmes has a definitive edge on Merrill Kelly, who is pushing, demotion territory. ERA bordering on 10, whip over 2.25. His expected ERA is almost 12. Claude Bott's got him in the double digits. He has a negative KBB, 43 ball, unpalatable right now. And it's not like the offense is pitching well. The offense is pitching well. My gosh. What the fuck is wrong with me? It's not like the hitters are hitting well. Same to be said for the Mets. I get it. It's a race to the bottom. But you're not paying minus 180 for these Mets. You're paying minus 120 for a much better team. Diamondbacks offense last 7 days. Dead last in runs, batting 171 as a team with a 548 OPS. Bottom 3 chase rate. That's a 55 WRC plus. And the bullpen stinks. I got news for you. Mets are winning this one again. Write that shit. I'm going to keep hitting these Mets money line as long as they're cheap and they're like a real favorite. The Mets should be a pretty heavy favorite. I don't know how many more outings we're going to get from Kelly of this shit. Schable had the Mets last night, me too. Mark says Mets offense is not fine. As of April, I get what you're saying. I still think we got to be careful, with these teams that coming off that giant losing streak. You almost got to look at that as its own data point. How's it been since it? If the Mets are going to be good, Vientos has been really good, right? And Soto has been really good. Benj is starting to hit. I just think the individual pieces are starting to get there. Tyler, good morning, my friend. As well, appreciate all you guys, kind of everyone just really banging the drum for engagement here. I'm trying not to get focused on total views. I've always been more about the quality of the view, the length of the, watch, and if the person is around for good, right? If this ain't for you, the fucking door is right there. So give me the Mets and let's move. All right, I got Dustin May going for the Cardinals. Their dogs again against Randy the Macho Man Vasquez and the Padres. This just really is ugly to me. I do think the Padres win. Algo trying to convince me to put them in that same bucket as who was it? Put them in the same bucket as KC, I guess? Yeah, Kansas City, where it's a favorite that you totally understand. The model is in agreement. You're not really looking for anything wild outside of the price really kind of rubbing you the wrong way. May has been bad. If I'm not mistaken, was he good last time? Maybe if he was good the last time out, maybe selling the rip on him is enough to get me over the edge to maybe pair those favorites. Man, he's actually been good for a while after a blow up. I gotta take an L. Gotta do it. Shit. Sorry to all the Dustin May fans giving me a piece of their mind right now. He's been excellent as of late. I mean, the 6-3 versus the Dodgers is not that bad. 6-2 Pittsburgh, 5-1 Miami, 6-1 Cleveland. Man, I just didn't realize how bad it was. Shame on me after those blow-ups, me kind of writing him off. I've never really been a tremendous May guy. And honestly, gun to my head, I think it's regressed to bad. The overall stats are still bad, but, right, we got to be fair. Giving up 6 and giving up 7 back-to-back outings out the gate is going to ruin the box score. And look what it did to me, even a sucker like me. You got to be honest, which is why you're always trying to add nuance and context soon. In fact, maybe that was the marker for it. I'm going to probably toss the 25 splits at the back end of the sheet for either, man, I had like home away. I've done last 30, just kind of experimenting with stuff. But maybe I'll do a last 30, again, to give you an idea of those, the last 5 or 6 starts. Has the command cleaned up and they're keeping guys off base. And, for a guy like May, you would get a clear marker that something has clearly changed. Again, not to spend too much time in him, but just to get that point home. So if we were to do that for May, again, he gave up 13 earned through his first 7 innings. And then since then, it's a 2.45 ERA, a 1.23 whip, and a 10 KBB. So even there, right, would say, but as good as the production has been, the low KBB and the contact profile as we approach the hotter months may not be exactly what you want to do for May. Although with that, what can we even expect from the damn Padres right now? Look at this Padres offense. Last 2 weeks versus righties, just shy of 350 plate appearances. They're batting .204 with a .606 OPS, 7% walk, 34 chase, 47 ground ball, ex-Woba right at 300, implying like 3.5 runs. This offense is not any good. They are not any good. Now, the Cardinals got home. It was on that weird Tatis error or whatever, but they've hit righties. It's been the opposite of what we expected coming out of the box to start the season. It looked like it would be more contact discipline steals. Lately there, it's like power and barrels and extra base hits and doubles. I guess that's like the Burleson and Church effect. But whatever it is, it's working for the Cardinals. The bullpen that stunk to start has been good. The Padres bullpen that was so very good to start has slipped a little bit. Not that they're bad and we're looking to attack them, but it hasn't been that carrying tool that you'd want for a -150. I'm like really torn here. I don't know. I'm torn. I'm worried that May, comes out and is good. I would have liked this one at 4.5 on the F5. I think I'm just out. I think I've got the fade here. If we're talking about this one, Carolina Daddy, I wonder if we're synced up. I have nothing on this game. Any help? I want to go back to the Cardinals, but I hate Dustin May. My dude, it sounds like you and I are like, we're like simpatico for sure. I feel like there's something here, and I feel like the answer is the over. But right, you're asking for something to give, and we still have a very heavy favorite at home. And it's not say arrogant, but it's like a little arrogant to assume that ninth frame. I'm price checking right now. Last thing before we go on, the 08 is -105. If you can find a nicely priced 7.5, then I think we want to push the over. That's where I think we want to be. There's enough there to let me go for if that 8 is a win. I don't want all those iterations of 8 to push me out. I'm not looking for that. You could just bet on something else. Braxton Ashcraft, my boy, on the bump for the Buccos. Yar. -118. Slight favorite against the Gigantes. Landon Roop in the San Francisco Treats, -102 at the crib. Man, this one should be really great. Two of my favorite young pitchers. This one also feels like a game that would have been an F5U4. I don't know if I trust the bullpens to go under the 7.5. I worry a little bit about the distance, but these offenses are such ass that they feel like walking unders, like for real. Giants bullpen in particular has been bad. My guy Caleb Killian, who is very good on a per inning basis, has struggled as of late, and he's been the only redeeming, quality out there. So you could see how, or I should say, you could see why this game has a 3.5, 7.5. That's a bit of an unusual split. I'm confirming. MGM has a 4, but it's juiced to the fucking cock. When you see an under that's minus 128, that's really heavy. That's not even an alt line. That's just a poorly priced baseline. I like to back both my guys. If you were going to attack based on offense, you got to give Pittsburgh the nod on offense over the Giants, though it feels like they want to break out. I'm very apologetic for the Giants because I was really into Devers for fantasy. I still think he's going to be fine at the price we paid for him. Obviously, when guys are this bad, you never think they would be that bad. They called up Jesus Rodriguez. They called up Bryce Eldridge. I still think Chapman's a good player. Adames, who's riding the damn struggle bus, I also think he's a good player. I think there's some love there for the Giants. But if you could see up on the board the highlighted row, holy crap, you're going to have a hard time finding a worse 7 days from a team. Just atrocious. Tied and last in runs with the D-backs, batting .216 with a .593 OPS, just 3% walk, 67 WRC plus. Atrocious how bad they are. Pirates haven't been a lot better, but they've been a little bit better. And I want to give Roop all the credit in the world, but where is the hiccup in? And it's clearly been the command and control. So you know what? Maybe we can take Pittsburgh. I think you'd want the exposure to the bullpens. So you know what? I think we might want to get on this one. I think Pittsburgh outlast. I do think we have a 3-phase edge. A phrase I'm trying to bring back. Toasty mentioned it on the show Thursday night. And it's something I've been saying for years, right? So it's not like he's biting me. I was like, wow, I used to fucking talk about that as being something that's worth money, like a valuable piece. And it's not a stat necessarily. And now a little brush fire is starting to go off. I wonder if I want that. And I wonder, I'm going to have Claude. I'm going to see if I can have Claude work in this. I have to see if I can quantify it to check how I want to define what having the edge that day is. You could probably do it simply, team WOBA split or whatever, and pitcher KBB or whatever. I don't know. But when we have a 3-phase edge being worth even a couple cents on the line, right? Not to overreact. But yeah, I like Pittsburgh more than I did when this exercise started, just out of curiosity where they might be priced. Minus 120 full, same price on the F5, which is a little tempting sometimes. I'm just an F5 better. I like to go to bed early. But the only thing I like more than going to bed early is, winning bet. So give me Pittsburgh to win it. Give us that little bit of space. Last but not least, at the nighttime, then I'm going to do a quick board read. We'll do an afternoon parlay, little skyrockets in flight. This game I want to watch, but, right? So Spencer Strider on the bump for the Bravos. He's a plus 144 dog on the road against the Dodgers, and Blake Snell making the debut. Anybody that is claiming to have some kind of definitive edge or read on this game, I think is bullshitting. We're full of it. Snell in the return. Obviously, we want to like him. Why can't I take my own advice and stop backing these debuts? Now, I know that under Reed would have still been good yesterday, but it is such a killer for me. I have never been able to really quantify it, and that's why it's not modeled. But, man, take my advice. Ding pitchers. And you know what? Our buddy Dr. Dave labeled this, and he just called it extended rest. And I was like, oh, right. Because that's what I was getting at. It doesn't have to be an injury. It doesn't have to be a debut. It's just guys off of their regular, routine. So as much as I like Snell, I'm not going to do what everyone thinks I'm going to do, and bet the Dodger run line. Now, Strider's had his struggles as well, but here's my read. So again, it's not going to bear out in the model. Let me bring that up. Again, this one's just fishy as fuck. Totals are at 4.5 and 8.5 because the offenses are so good, but both pitchers have, I don't know if Strider didn't win the Cy Young. Snell has 2, and Strider, if he didn't win a Cy Young, put up a Cy Young competitive season. Now, Strider made his debut. They fed him to the Rockies in Coors, and he got touched up. Now, it wasn't gross, but he walked like 5 batters. A little bit out of character even for him. So Strider has the debut out of the way. I feel like there is a massive misprice here, right? So this is the gut bet. This is the better in me that says, take the model shit it, throw it away, take the pricing, throw it away. Snow in the debut needs to get dinged. Strider is not getting enough love. He has his debut black eye out of the way already, and he should not be such a heavy dog. Now, MGM, I'm realizing I've been getting into them as I flip, because even though they don't have a first 5 page that like it, how I like it, everything at once, they do. If you click through, it's right there. So they make it easy at least. Man, Strider is plus 135. He's even money getting the run. That was the play that I wanted to identify. That's the play that I think is the sharp play, is still getting Strider, who I think is going to be much better than he just was, against Blake Snell in the debut, who, regardless what you think about him, and I think very highly of Snell, he's totally wild at times. Wouldn't this be one of those times? Braves offense is really good. Dodgers offense, despite being really good, I guess, man, the last 14 is starting to shimmy, and we knew this was going to happen. L7 is not great, too many double plays, but again, I'm not trying to kill the Dodgers. I was just trying to say they're not always sun running, though. And again, just to be honest, because we want to apply the same methodology we use to catch trend indication, we want to be fair. And the Dodgers are they're about to crest up again after a little lull. That said, the Braves offense is really good, and you're getting even money on a team with the best record in baseball. Again, with Strider with the debut, so that is not in the model. It's not. You're not going to work that out. You have to kind of think that through. All right. I got all 5 of the afternoon games up on the board. Just before we get them, clean up a couple of comments. Everybody, appreciate you. Tyler says, piggybacking John and the Rocks yesterday. Does anyone think there's value on the Astros first 5 plus money? We're going to get to that in a second. Long story short, I don't know. I really like Burns, and I'm not hot on the Houston offense coming down right now. So glad to see people, following along on those plus money bets. Love that, I do. So CKM, thanks so much, and Carolina Daddy, and people helping to carry the conversation on the weekend. I always preach the value in my work is the time it saves you. And for you to spend your time, like, I have to appreciate that. Shabla 7. No, we're going to get to that right now. Angels Jays is first on the docket. I always do the podcast and the video starting with the nighttime slate for the commuter crowd to listen when they're on the way home. And then we circle back for the afternoon stuff. Long form afternoon stuff doesn't do well. So let's blow this out and get out of here, right? Well, at least a few minutes earlier than normal. Again, I have such a hard time shouting out everybody because it really means a ton to me, Okay, Jack Kohanowitz going for the Angels. He's been better than expected. Model looking for regression against the Bluebirds and you Savage. I mean, if you're parlaying, let me see if I can actually log in. I always have freaking location issues and stuff. It's whatever. It's a nightmare. I'm going to aggravate myself talking about it. But maybe I could build something. So I think the straight play, right, if you're a responsible bettor, the straight play is the run line. That's plus 115. If you're a donkey loser like me and you parlay, it's just the Toronto money line. Aaron Savali and the A's on the road in Baltimore against Shane Baz and the Orioles. I'm brain farting right now on how that wound up. I thought there'd be scoring yesterday. It was 4-3. We fell short. Bradish and Lopez, though they were off the rough starts, experiencing positive regression is not that crazy because they're both good pitchers. I think I'm going back to the scoring well here. Wind blowing out again in Baltimore. Damn, totals are 5 and 9. Is it really 9.5? It is 9.5, but I got 9.5 minus 102. So maybe that means we could find like a decent 9. I'm not 100% sure. I'm kind of digging around MGM in real time. They want minus 140, and I'm like, F you. I don't want that crap, man. Jeez. So I don't even know. I don't like 10 runs this one. You got the favorite at home and might not get the 9th frame. If there's a show pick, like if there's a pick I'm making, it's over for the scoring. But gosh, I don't trust anybody, and I can't really get on the money line for the modeling. I guess you could say maybe then, I'll tell you what, maybe the parlay piece then is A's full game run line. This is just all the donkey picks right here. Next up, Spencer Arrighetti and Meatballs on the bump for the Astros. They're on the road against Chase Montgomery Burns. Excellent. And the Red Legs, minus 170. I'm such a huge honk, man. I love freaking Burns. I didn't want to shit on the Houston F5 run line call. I'm not quite sure I'm there. It would depend on the price, as always, which I didn't notice how lopsided it was. Everyone loves Burns, obviously, with good reason. You know what? Maybe I got to take that back. Whoever asked. I'm seeing minus 105 getting the run for Houston. I might like Burns a little much for that, but it's viable, right? That's I think what I want to clarify. Jody up in the piece asking about hit and run Ribby. If people are curious, those go up every single day. If you sign up, they're on the same algo sheet. You just can't see it because I'm zoomed in. For guys we had later on, we had scoring in the Seattle game. I like J-Rod. I got Antonacci leading off against Castillo. I like Vientos. He's been hitting. I mentioned him when I mentioned the Mets. I don't have it. Oh, early on. Oh, maybe that's what you were talking about. And if it was Jody, then yeah, you read my mind and actually did better because my mind is too scrambled and I drop the ball sometimes. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Sites are letting you parlay these things with minimal penalty. A site like drafters.com, you can parlay same game with no penalty. That also applies in Colorado, which is kind of crazy. So if you're looking up at the board, those are the guys I like. Rooker, Langoliers, Rutschman, and Alonso. I'd much rather play a minimal risk parlay and try and get my scoring that way than bet for 10 or some shit. That's just never been my style. So great call out. Thank you for making me think of that. Yeah, absolutely. Back to Houston and the Reds. I think the Reds win. I worry about both bullpens. And I thought the total would be lower. So that's where I'm a little off kilter for that reason. Because I was really expecting, and I guess it's the ballpark, but I feel like Cincinnati hasn't really played up in that manner. I don't know. I'm a little torn. Maybe I'm under the 8.5. Again, they have a favorite at home. I do like Arrighetti. I don't like the Reds offense. I think the Reds ballpark is getting oversold right now. Yeah. I'm not into that. Oh, that's my move. So under 8.5. This is just the donkiest of all the donkeys. Okay, who the fruck is next, yo? Nicky Martinez on the bump for the Rays. He's been very good. Wind blowing out, which sucks because I want to be under this one. In Boston to face Peyton Toll. Got to pay the troll toll if you want to get into this boys hole. Toll really good and Martinez has been really good. Do you like either of these offenses? To me, this is like a clear under or nada. I wanted to check the Rays strikeout stuff versus lefties because I feel like they're not really striking out. That's why the number is low. I was looking at the Toll strikeout prop. It seemed low when I looked at it. Even with the wind, man, I think I like the under. You know what? It's you 7.5 minus 102. Can we get a discount on that 8? I would like that. Those are always worth looking at also. All right, it's minus 128. I could dig on that. If you're parlaying, I think that's what I want. I do. I don't want to get housed on that half run. Carolina says, after bullpen's got to awful, got to play F5 if you're backing them. Yeah, that's why I think that line came up for the F5 run line, which I think is fair. Carolina on the A's. We got J Main. What up, gang? Appreciate you. Everybody kind of jumping in on the weekend and stuff, and you really don't have to. Remember, it ain't madness, yo.
This is Sparta!
Damn fucking right it is. I like Boston to win because I think Toll shoves. I had the same feeling yesterday, and what happened? Needing Boston to score is fucking pulling teeth. It's awful. It's awful. When Boston is pitching, we just want the unders. The Rays are not any good. Toll has legit kind of ace type upside. So I'm gonna go under the 8 here and move it on. And now it's last but not least. Thank you everybody spending time with us here on a Saturday morning. Zach Littell on the road for the Nationals, wind blowing in against Jansen Junk and Miami. I've got this one for the clearest Miami win. Are they really minus 160 favorites? That is so expensive for the Marlins. Oh my gosh. That is so expensive for the Marlins. I got to check a team total. I think the Marlins win. I really do. I can't parlay the run line. I don't even think I like that money line parlay. There has to come a point where, we as men and women say enough is enough. Marlins team totals 4.5 minus 115. Sigh. I'm like, honestly, and again, this comes down to what I was talking about before, where you're like price obsessing or just looking for the thing that is going to hit. If I could, I don't know if I could find this in time. Maybe I can. It would be probably the alt team total, right? It'd be Marlins down to the 4. Damn, I was really thought I was going to be able to find it. MGM is a really nice menu, and it's not impossible to find stuff. I just don't know where everything is. I'm going to have to fucking give up on this in a second. Team totals, I can't find it. So that it would be alt Miami, but I guess for the donkey me, just because I like to finish things I start, I guess it's the Miami money line. Ugh, it kills me to say, it just kills me. But, Junky's been good. And the bullpen's got it done. The offense has shown life. What's the fail point? It's got to be the Nats offense, which has, definitely shown through at times also, just as I was kind of crapping on them versus righties. They've even done that, a little bit of that. Now, they've not been good the last 2 weeks. They have not hit righties really at all. I do think they're talented, but yeah, I think Miami wins. What I was getting at is the other side would have to be the under, but then we want to get that bitch to 9. I guess I got 1 second to look at that because this Miami, I can't go under in a Littell game. He's stunk. I can't. And the Washington bullpen stunk. So it's Miami to win in that parlay or nothing. So in case you're tailing, what has got to be the ugliest parlay in the history of mankind? It's a plus 1163. It's the Blue Jays win, Athletics full game run line, Houston and Reds under 8.5, Tampa and Boston under 8, and the Marlins win. Oh, that is just the grossest thing you've ever seen. I'm betting that shit. Like, you know it, player. All right, that's it. We are Audi 5000. Appreciate all you guys back and forth. I love seeing different people that follow the show then creating relationships. We've got the Jay Jeff thing going on. I see it going on, in the chats right now. Players that have identified, what I'm noticing at least is these are players that have identified soft markets, that have identified also and recognized the work we're doing here, the tools, as the best jumping off point to do your total work. And a lot of times in these soft markets, they're unsolved, and having a second set of eyeballs is huge. And I wouldn't be surprised. This is, not even to jerk me off because I don't get any money from this. I wouldn't be surprised if the pairs of you guys out there doing this start to experience some 1 + 1 = 3 type stuff, which really happens. You had something to add, that person had something to add, you put them together and then both realize something new. So, you guys are doing it, and that's what it's all about. So I appreciate you all. Enjoy the weekend. Feeling pretty strong about the bets. Hopefully I close out these last 2 sessions profitable so we can go live. I'm feeling very, very good right now about the betting stuff. And, that's why you like the combine. That's why people do it. So, you didn't lose those deposits. And I'm not going to call anybody out because they asked me to keep it to myself. But to see somebody, a real person, explain how the combine method just blew their mind. I like to think a lot of us are as disciplined as I am, and I know that's not the case. But the discipline really matters. While you're in the combine, there's a source of clarity of being alive because something matters, but there's no money, which is normally the thing that drives your emotions. So you end up interested and focused without the damaging financial capital at risk. And it really helps you see your process for what it is. Because there is no, you start to, I'm never going to say enjoy a loss, but you're like, that one lost. I was worried about that one and it lost. I was worried about these F5s and they lost. I was worried about these bullpens at the price and they lost. Now, look already for myself. I have years of experience in this shit. Still learning lessons and adjusting process because this is not a fucking static thing. It's dynamic. Everything is moving. It's almost like it's like fighting. You know what I mean? You even a heavy bag moves a little bit, but in an actual fight, you can practice what you like. Every single fight, even against the same person, will always be different. They'll always be different. That's like the chaos theory, right? So does anyone do this shit like us? Just support good people doing good work. $2 a week, get your 5 pounds of shit in a 2-pound box. If you sign up for the Substack, you get the last month for free. Check out the Twitter handle at John Legeza for all types of samples and stuff. See how other people are using the work, all the green screens, and then some bad dad jokes and, GIFs from the 80s and 90s. How do you beat that, Man, listen, a 12-month for free knocks the $2 down to like $1.67. And there's NFL stuff. Kyle shouted me out, which I appreciated. But it is not just fantasy people. The betting, you want to be on it. There's a lot of really great sources for starting your futures work, the differential work we're doing. I know I could charge something separate for that. Nobody has that. Nobody even minds that. It's really, really difficult and a fucking pain in the ass to do this stuff. It is not available for this cost anywhere. And you get it as the cherry on top with all the baseball shit. So I really am making it my life's work to save you $2 worth of time every fucking week where people, my favorite is like, I don't even like you, but I find it impossible to not pay for this. That's what I'm talking about. So enjoy the games, enjoy the day. When we're done with the book, enjoy the pay. Again, appreciate the crew. Means the absolute world. And remember, when you work this freaking hard, man, the winning feels a lot less like luck, yo.